without any coercion.
Thank you so much. This is really getting interesting. Thank you.
Respected judges and my friends. So humans have always strived to improve themselves both as a community and as an individual. We work tirelessly as a race to better our standard of living and to make our lives easier through everyday inventions in technology, medicine, and many other aspects of life. It's obvious that our lives would change dramatically in a positive way with the use of cognitive enhancers. So, self-confidence is the first requisite to great undertakings. If a person is feeling that he or she is lagging behind in something when compared to the others, that is, they're lacking in self-confidence, and if they take a cognitive enhancer to improve themselves, even if it acts as a placebo effect, as one of my opponents said, even though if it acts like that, it is still improving their self-confidence. Don't you think this is something that is improving, that is changing their lives in a better way? Next, so what is, I would here like to bring in the WHO definition of health. Health is not just the absence of an illness, it is the mental, physical, spiritual, and overall social well-being of a human being. So, if cognitive enhancers are improving a person in a mental and a social way, let us say a person is depressed, if he is taking an enhancer to battle depression, then that is something helpful, right? It is helping his life for a better way. And as I already mentioned, tea and coffee are also natural cognitive enhancers, and we definitely don't need a prescription to have tea and coffee, and we can't question the ethicality of the use of these drugs. We have tea and coffee every day. Next, if a person is, as I already mentioned it partly, if a person is battling depression, he or she is having suicidal thoughts, for instance, HIV itself, it's such a big problem in the country, it itself is a social stigma. A person can't come out and tell his HIV positive, or he has symptoms of HIV. He can't come forward and tell people. Even tuberculosis is a social stigma. These are all very big problems. If a person, and most of the times people are not responsible for having tuberculosis, but still it is treated as a social stigma. A person, let's say a person is depressed, and he is afraid to come out and share that he is depressed for the fear of his emotions being brushed aside, and he's using cognitive enhancers to battle depression. At least that helps him come out of his, most of them, they just lock themselves up inside their rooms, and they don't even come out. So if this is helping the person have a better social life, and if this better social life helps him or her come out of depression, then it is definitely, it's having a positive effect on the person's life. Next, well, if a surgeon or a pilot have nootropics right before they go in for a surgery or go in for flying a flight, I would like to state here, nootropics do not increase the intelligence of a person. They just help in increasing the focus. They help in making the person more focused, and they help in making them more concentrated. So if a surgeon is taking a nootropic and performing a surgery, his focus is more improved. What's wrong in it? Here, lives are at stake. So what's wrong in having a nootropic before performing a surgery, something as vital as a surgery or flying a plane? And then even students, there's nothing wrong in students taking nootropics before exams, because yes, exams are very important. And if the question of addiction comes into play here, taking nootropics for 1 or 2 exams, or let's say we have 3 subjects in the first year, 4 in the second. So, okay, speaking of second and final years, 4, that means we have 7 papers. So right before the day of examination, if we take nootropics, does this short-term use lead to addiction? We're taking it when we need them. So that doesn't mean it should essentially lead to addiction. And there are some other natural nootropics which are present in food like fish. I would like to state the example of omega-3 fatty acids here. We all know the benefits of omega-3 fatty acids, and if a person does not have access to buying fish, then what's wrong in having tablets that contain omega-3 fatty acids? And so that's all I've mentioned. Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you, sir.
I just want to know the names of all the nootropics that you have in mind.
Well, so the synthetic ones are modafinil and methylphenidate. Some of the natural ones are caffeine, theophylline, and omega-3 fatty acids.
That's it?
As far as
See, the other contestants and you spoke about the addiction potential. I am not concerned about the addiction potential of these drugs. I am concerned about much more. Do you know that chronic use of these drugs? I'll tell you examples, okay? I've had a very prominent person. He was a movie director and story writer. Excellent one. If you go through his list, he's had multiple hits. He used to take methylphenidate every single night, stay awake and write. He went into dementia, never recovered. The problem with this dementia is, unlike Alzheimer's where you die, thankfully, in 8 years, this person didn't die. He continued to suffer with dementia. So addiction is a lesser problem. The other issues are not addressed. These are the things. Do you know what adverse effects are there with modafinil?
Palpitations. Like that's with respect to the cardiovascular system, it increased perspiration and.
You asked what was wrong if you take it. Addiction are not concerned. What is wrong is that they can develop cardiac arrhythmias. Yes, we should know what these drugs cause before we start advocating that they can take it without prescription. In fact, some of these drugs I don't even recommend when the people need it. So you should understand the implications. Of course, if it is regulated with a prescription, maybe yes. But otherwise, you need to be aware of all these drugs. And whenever you say nootropic drugs, omega-3 fatty acid, are you including it in the same category as modafinil and methylphenidate?
No, sir. Well, it's for the entire body. Well, yeah.
You have to be clear why we use this and why we use that. So once you have clarity, then you can talk a little more in advanced way about that.
Well, sir, whatever I was speaking about, it was only with respect to a short-term use and a regulated use.
Okay.
So as you've mentioned, the director who was using methylphenidate every day, yes, I was definitely not including such cases.
How do you stop it?
Well, awareness has to be spread and they have to regulate the use.
Once they start taking that, whatever awareness that they just want the next hit. They don't care about awareness. I'm just telling you that. But good job, Mary. Yeah.
You said that it can be used for people who are depressed and they can take these medicines. But being a physician who's training, I would like to ask, we have campaigns all day saying that come out of the social stigma, come talk about depression. Do you think we are really solving the problem? Because I think if someone is depressed, you need to tell it to someone, you need a psychiatrist, a psychologist to talk about your problems other than just taking cognitive enhancers. Because maybe I'll feel good today, tomorrow, but how long do you think I can take these cognitive enhancers and deal with my problem? Because we are talking about depression. And I think as physicians, I think we have enough campaigns saying, come out of the social stigma, talk about it, tell others, make others aware. So how do you justify these for the people who are depressed?
Well, not everyone can access a psychiatrist. That's where the social stigma comes into play.
But that's what I'm saying. Then are we really solving the problem by giving them cognitive enhancers? Is it really is it increasing the problem or solving it? Because as you said, it's short term. But I don't think in that short term depression is cured. You still have that disease in you. You are still depressed. So how long can I take these medicines?
What if it gives them a boost, even though it's just for a few hours, it gives them a boost to come out and talk to people, then they would definitely come out and share. That's where it ends.
Then that is not the social stigma. It is like you're talking about a boost of coming out and telling it.
True. The cause was a social stigma. That's why they weren't able to share anything with anyone, whatever they're feeling. They just put it inside them. If a boost is given,
How
it
sure are
definitely
you that it will give the boost for you to come out? Maybe how sure are you that it will give the boost to come out?
My question is it really beneficial to use it? How many people do you think after taking nootropics would come out and tell that, oh, I was depressed, now I can talk about it because I've taken